Okay, I am doing the thing. I am finally starting a podcast. I came across this guy the other day. I know that a lot of people know him, but he had posted about podcasting. And this is it. 90% don't go past posting one podcast. 9% don't go past posting 20, and 1% make it to 21 plus. So the goal here is to get as many episodes as I possibly can, but I'm thinking at least once a week, maybe 2 times a week. I'm going to try and get other people to come on this podcast. And I've been having people ask for so long for me to do a podcast, but I haven't done it primarily because I was working really hard on getting this camera working, also getting microphones working. I am not tech savvy, but also I was trying to find a co-host. So in a co-host, originally I was looking for someone local that would co-host with me and we would come up with the concept for the podcast together. I tried to do it with a friend who lives in Kelowna, but he's like very type A. And when we sat down to kind of like go over the nitty gritty, he wanted like a schedule and he wanted specific topics covered. And I was like, no, it's just going to be like us, like going bouncing off one another. We have great conversations. And he was very anxious about it. So that fell through. Then there was another person that lives in the States that I was trying to set it up with. We recorded a couple episodes, but then his life happened. He has things going on. And nothing ever came of it because he was recording it on his end. We came up with the concept. It never went anywhere. It never got off the ground. Guess it's one of those ones that never made it to one, even to one. And I honestly, I feel like in my experience talking to people who are from LA or are in that environment, there's so many what you call clout chasers, and I'm not saying that I'm somebody who has a ton of clout. I'm just saying that I thought that if I was like, oh, here's an opportunity, let's do this together, I'll do the grunt work. I'll do the majority of it. I will step up and like, this is what I want to do. And I'm really adamant about doing this. I thought if I was that person that people would be like jumping to do this with me. And then that was not my experience at all. And I even had a meeting one time, but like we had this 3-way call with one of my friends who's also an influencer. And she's like, oh, me and my other friend wanted to do a podcast, so maybe we could do it, the 3 of us. And I was like, okay, dope. So we jump on this call and it's all 3 of us. And we have this like hour-long chat. And I'm like, okay, this seems great. And then probably like a day or 2 later, I'm like, so what'd your friend think? And they're like, yeah, no, they just want to do it, me and them, not with you. And I was like, sick. Love this. So then I literally reached out to my friends that I have great conversations with because I'm like, we talk so well. Maybe we can do something. Like, you're super funny. I think that we would be great together. And they were like, totally. And then they bailed. And then my sister came to my apartment one time. She sat on this couch, set up my phone, and I was like, let's just do like a test run. Let's try it. Set up everything. We're talking, and she's just sitting there. And she's saying absolutely nothing the entire time. And I'm like trying for like 20, 30 minutes. And then I eventually get up, turn my phone off. I'm like, okay, like you're a chatterbox. Like you weren't talking. She's like, oh, was that actually us trying to do this? I'm like, what did you think we were doing for the last 20 or 30 minutes? And she was just so confused and I think anxious about it. So she bailed. Like, I've been trying to get this off the ground for so long. So finally I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. I need to do this myself. So this is going to be my podcast. I'm going to cover so many things that like maybe fitness related because I am a personal trainer. That's what I do job wise. But I just want to cover everything. I called it Life's a Joke because at this point, like I post on TikTok so much and I have a good personality. I can talk to people so well. I know this about myself, but it does not come across on my TikTok. I seem so dry and factual and to the point. And that's almost because when I'm on there, I'm talking to people about serious topics and I feel like I can't make jokes when I'm doing that. I can't like insert my personality a ton into it because the topics sometimes can be so heavy, and maybe that's me in like a way that I protect myself, but I've just been watching, like I'm a super big fan of Shits and Gigs. And I know they can be toxic in their own ways, but I think we all are to some degree. And at one point I did listen to a couple Call Her Daddy podcasts, and I don't think that I would want this to be like that, but the fun around it is what I want. And then with Brooke and Tana on the Cancelled podcast, I see them and I'm like, this is fun. People, like, women need more fun topics. We need to shit talk. We need to, like, hear about topics without it having to be a lecture, because I find that that's sometimes what I feel like on TikTok, that I'm just lecturing people and informing people. And if I say anything that isn't like completely 100% factual with articles linked, people will get so upset in my comments and be like, this is just your opinion. Yeah, it is just my opinion. It's my name at the bottom of the screen. Fuck off. And I can't even say fuck off on TikTok. Truthfully, I cannot say anything on TikTok without getting community guideline strikes. It's just so not been fun for me for a couple months, honestly, if I'm truthful about it. So I want something that feels fun and feels organic. And so I just want to have people on here, anyone that is wanting to come on, whether or not they're a social media personality or not. I think that conversation is so much fun, and I have so many great conversations with my friends and my family about topics, and it's fun. And when I talk to people, they laugh. But I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but the impression I get is that when people watch my TikToks, they're not laughing. They're very like zoned in and listening and learning, which is great. That has its moments. But I just want to have fun. Like, I feel like everything is so structured and so like, do this and do that and do this and do that and make sure you don't hurt that person's feeling and think about that person's feelings. And what did you think? Did you think about Joe that you've never met in Arkansas and how he might feel about this? And sometimes I just roll my eyes at social media. So this podcast is not going to be that. So it'll cover topics, but I think with more freedom, especially with lack of time constraint. I'm going to try and keep them under an hour, because an hour is still a lot of time. But also, feel free to tell me in the comments. But I also, like, Shits and Gigs reads tweets and they just fucking laugh. And I laugh. And I want to laugh. I want to enjoy social media as like a form of entertainment instead of just being a place to be educational. So if there's anything you want me to talk about or cover, I'm going to be doing that too. And the reason that I have time for this is I have completely cleared my roster. Not that I usually have like a huge roster, but there's usually like a few men trying to get my attention in some capacity, or trying to take me out, or trying to do this or trying to do that. And I told myself that this summer would be me just focusing on myself and doing things that I want to do and enjoying and working and not focusing on men. So I went on a blocking spree like 2-3 weeks ago, and I feel like I've been so productive since I've done that. And I have, because I filed 2 years worth of taxes that I was behind on. I have got more online clients, starting this podcast. I literally organized my entire life, got my ADHD meds finally renewed, which is great. But because I don't have men, I have so much time. And I have my son a week on, a week off. So the week that I don't have him, I plan to just have people here, record. I'm supposed to have somebody on Monday, but yet again, no, love her. Great girl. Not saying anything wrong against her. It's just trying to line people up to record. And I've told myself, if no one comes, I'm just going to sit here and do it myself. I tried to get on other podcasts. I tried to get on that library show, because he's so funny. Derek something, he's in Vancouver. And I know a lot of Vancouver influencers, because I've been to more like a handful of influencer events, which is a story in and of itself. But I've been to enough influencer events that I have like connections with other influencers in the Vancouver area. So if you know someone in Vancouver that you're like, oh, I love that person, I can try and reach out to them and get them to come on here if they're willing to. But I think that that will grow over time when people start to see the concept a little bit more. But again, we'll see. Let me know what you think. I think that I'm going to cut this off now because this is just me trying to get it out. And then I will make a second one, and we will be better off than 90% of people who start podcasts, which is wild. Yeah, let me know if you have any topics or questions. And I'm excited to be here and do this with you. Yeah, enjoy your day.